Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Eye Opener Society. I thank you again for hitting play and joining us on our fantastic little podcast here. I've been getting so excited because I'm getting back into the recording and I'm back in a groove again. And I'm pretty excited about that. Don't forget, follow us on podbean.com or eyeopenersociety.podbean.com because at the top of our page, we have a link for the talk show. It literally says talk show. Just hit that link and it'll take you to our Podbean. We're going to start a live talk show, and that's going to be on February 5th. And I believe we have it set for 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be Wednesday nights unless things change. There's going to be a lot of experimenting with this at first before we can actually get it rolling the way we want to. But I want people to start joining in because you can join in on the conversation, whether it's through text or whether you actually want to come up on the air with us. So don't forget about that. Again, eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. I have Jennifer Miller here with us. Jennifer, you're going
Hi.
to be obviously the co-host, and you're going to be the creative source behind that talk show too, as well, because we've
Well,
been, you know, sharing a lot of ideas, and I like to give some creative control to you as well. I think that show is going to fit you in a very good way. But again,
I
folks,
hope so.
no, it certainly will for sure. I know we're going to do good. This episode is going to be good too, and we're going to do quick because I got a couple things that I need to do. But again, we were speaking just before this podcast, and with all of our talks and all of our words and all of our thoughts, ideas, you got me into thinking something. You mentioned to me, you ever go into a place that just doesn't feel right? You're not comfortable. You want to be at arm's
Well,
length people. And I had a story where I was in a place that was the complete opposite. So we're just going to
mm,
sit here and we're going to discuss quickly places that you are in, your comfort, what you feel. Do you need to run away or do you need to back out? So since Jennifer, you mentioned to me like, yeah, you're sometimes in these places. How many times? How often does that happen? And how often are you in places that you're actually comfortable with?
um, sometimes okay, so like with vending, it just really depends with vending. Like your neighbors and stuff beside you, like that can just affect the whole ambiance of wherever you're at, festival, metaphysical event, expo, or just doing readings. I mean, like when I do readings at home, I feel perfectly fine, like comfortable. If I do readings at shops, sometimes I feel comfortable, sometimes I don't. Often wise, um, it just depends on how busy I am. When it comes to being not comfortable or comfortable and, you know, like with a schedule, vending schedules are not set. So it really just depends. But when you're in those situations, you feel very anxious. You say things that put your foot in your mouth and it just makes it worse. Um, and and you can sense it. Like you can just sense it. Um, Maybe not when you're setting up, but as soon as people start coming around, and that's what I'm saying, like energy vampires, they can cause that. Um, People with just really bad attitudes, like they just had like the roughest day, will add to that atmosphere. It it really is. It's a combination of everything, like that can cause, the discomfort and the uncomfortableness. I mean, but you just sense it, you just feel it. I mean, you could literally probably just, cut the room air with a knife. I
Mhm.
mean, and you've even said before that you felt places where you've been very uncomfortable, and then very comfortable. Like, what's your like, do people add to that for you or
Yeah, see if you apply it like for us, we're talking more of the metaphysical community. But it could be anything. Like, listen, even if you're retail shopping, there's certain stores you're going to go to because you're comfortable with them. It's just that simple. That's why all this here reviews and all we're looking at individuals and where they feel comfortable with. If I feel like comfortable shopping at shop A and somebody else is more comfortable shopping at shop B, what really is the difference? Both places are selling the same items. So when we get into this metaphysical community, people are coming to us from the retail side that might not understand anything about the metaphysical community. Are they going to be feeling comfortable? Are they going to be feeling welcome around you? That's the key. But at the same time, they don't know what they're stepping into because they just simply don't understand it. The entire audience knows Jen from Mind's Eye Metaphysical. I talk about her all the time. She's the one who actually got me into podcasting. She got my life turned around through a simple Reiki session. The first day I walked into her shop, I was completely overwhelmed by such a positive energy. And my wife was too. So it was two physical beings inside this store that were just taking on this wonderful positive energy. And that was even before Jen walked into the shop. Once she did, now it added another element to where there was a human interaction as well that also was just so full of positivity. And it was just weird. It was such a comforting feeling being in that shop. And through the years, getting to know Jen even more, she's taken on this role as a spirit guide in my life because anything I ask of her, she has answers. And they're very matter of factly, but at the same time, she allows me to interpret them in my own way. And that is for the metaphysical community, that's the best way to approach any of this because not everybody's going to understand it. And you need to make them feel comfortable and allow them to make their own interpretations because at the same time, us as metaphysical community members that have certain gifts or whether it be tarot reading or tea leaf readings, whatever it may be, we do things in our own way and we don't have to follow any kind of rules because regardless of what anybody says and no matter the backlash you and I might get from this episode, there are no rules to this. Each individual person is an individual person who's learned to do things through their own way. Spiritual world does not have instructions.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's some instructions for certain things, like uh, making candles and stuff. I mean, not technically just always candles, but like if you're putting essential oil in, I mean, you kind of need to know that because you don't really want to like cause anybody to have like a toxic reaction or anything. But like you said, yeah, like there really is no specific rule on things. And usually it's people that are like the gatekeepers, are usually that way, that things are just done this way, and if you don't do it that way, then you're not really into it. There are those people. And some people like that. Some people really like the, very schedule, very, things go a certain way. And then there's other people that are just really happy and open to just, you know, whatever feels right. And then there's people that are kind of in the middle of the road. I mean, with that, sometimes they really like some rigid things and they like really like open and willing to just allow things to be how they feel. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you get those. Um, it really is though, like there's just a combination of how you feel like welcome and I mean, like atmosphere, like your ambiance that really adds to it. The people that show up, like if you have a shop or if you're at an event, that really brings to the, energy.
Mhm.
And what people sell, if it's laid out really well, it kind of has like a feng shui, like a flow to it. So like there are like a lot of things that really add to being welcoming, and just it being a good atmosphere. I mean, all around. And there's just times that you will run into the uncomfortableness. I mean, unfortunately.
And it's
Um,
really unfortunate because we do as humans work off of physical energies. So you're never
right,
going to go and get any type of metaphysical service from someone whom you're just not comfortable with. And it doesn't mean you don't like the person. It just means the energies are just not connecting. And when you're going to
right,
connect, you're going to connect somebody with something that's energetic to begin with. You shouldn't have any bad energies between each other. It's something
right,
I always bring my wife. If I'm going to meet somebody, new within the community, I bring her with me because she'll be the first one like, cut it off. There's a bad energy here. She's able to sense that. So yeah, but at times I've also felt comfortable around people where she didn't feel comfortable around, you know, it's, it's all
how did
going
that turn
to,
out?
yeah, I've really I've run into people before that said, "Oh wow, they're great, they're wonderful," and then turns out down the road they really are not, and then you lose that energy, you lose that spiritual connection at times. So there's always going to be a difference. It's something we need to start feeling more comfortable with ourselves. It's not rejection. It's just there is a lack of good energy between the people, and we don't want that for the people that we're servicing. We want to have something very clean, open as far as energies. This way, everything works for as far as what we are doing.
Transparency, huh?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, yeah, like if your chemistry's off and you're not aligning, yeah, that can really, I mean, I've done readings like that and I'll say I felt really dirty afterwards. And I hate to say this, but I was very open to giving them a reading and I just got very weird energy off them. Like I wouldn't say, I mean, there's times I've got negative energy. I've got really bad, like they have the resting bitch face or, resting hard ass that nothing you say or do is going to affect them. And they're very, I don't want to say like skeptical or, think you're kind of like a scam artist, but there's sometimes that you feel that vibe off them. And when even if you give them the reading to show them like, hey, I'm open, like, like try to see if they're just one of those people that have a hard looking exterior but are very soft.
Mhm.
Sometimes that energy though, just right off the bat, really it does not flow. It does not do well and you end up feeling very dirty and very just I don't know, the ick.
Mhm.
I don't want you get that really gross feeling. And that's a hard thing to shake after you've given a reading like that. I mean, it's a really hard thing just to get right off you. And and then like your whole day kind of just doesn't align. It doesn't go smooth then. I mean, because you have that dirty energy then. And it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not, but this is what we need to recognize, and we need to recognize it early. So even before that reading takes place, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't think our energies are aligning. I don't think I could give you a reading. That's all.
I have done that before too, and I was so grateful because I know like some events I've gone to, like metaphysical expos, they'll go to somebody else four, tables, five tables down that did tarot reading. They come up and they're like, I just did this reading and I should not have done, and it felt gross. And I'm always like, yeah, I passed them up just because I felt it was just not gonna fit. And I find it strange when it doesn't fit for other people too. Like, you know that your energy with that person will align, but because they gave that bad reading, things just feel so wonky.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So if you're going to a metaphysical event or a reading, make sure you go in open-minded and relaxed and just ready to have an experience and not, if it's going to be any way bad, don't go because it really does. The dirty energy just it doesn't, it does bad for the reader too. I mean, they feel that as well.
Mhm. And this also applies not only to metaphysical, just to everyday people that are out there. When you're going about your daily life, remember, we are physical beings. We are going to judge people immediately by looking at them from looks and the way they dress and all that. But on a spiritual level, even though a lot of people are just not conscientious of it, there is an entire spiritual realm that's going on. So when you're coming in contact with other people, you are dealing with their energies, their spiritual energies, and you have your own spiritual energies. We may not be conscientious of it if you're not in the whole metaphysical realm. You may not understand that. So you may feel off. You may start judging people more. If we take the time out to understand that there's more than just that physical connection, that there is that spiritual and energetic connection between people. That is why we lose trust on people. This is why we get negative feelings. This is why we think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be around this person. There's a bad vibe or whatever. It's happening. It happens every day, every single person we come in contact with. And we need to start connecting, I think, a little bit more that way on a spiritual or energetic level. than just taking people for face value. We connect only with those that we vibe with. Our vibrations need to match that person. Sometimes we have to deal with someone who's not on that same vibrational frequency. We can find ways around it. We can tune into certain spaces within that vibrational frequency just enough so we can deal with that person for a shorter period of time. But those people that
Hmm.
we connect with, those people that we want to connect with, we need to vibe with them. And we just need to find that person that's still operating on the same frequency as us.
Right. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think sometimes people though, when you first meet them, they do go based off looks and they make that conscious effort to not purposely get along with you because of, certain things, the way you look, like if you look like you have money or if you look like you're a hobo or I think people make those conscious decisions sometimes though. I mean, their energy could be really good, but they see how this person looks and they're like, "Nah, I don't want to be associated with someone like that." So they purposely are very short and make that very, just very blocked off, arm's distance. I think people do that sometimes consciously. It's, not always, you know,
Yeah, we
a
don't,
good vibe
we,
flow.
I believe we actually sit there and we change our own vibrational frequencies because we can do that. And that's what emotionals do.
Mhm.
Emotions do. They change those frequencies and we can change our frequency to either get away from somebody just because we're judging them or whatever. This is why we are really spiritual beings, but we are not connected with it enough to understand it where we can actually make changes that would be positive rather than a negative.
Right. I mean, right. I think some people just, yeah, they want to shut certain areas off for just very shallow reasons. Exactly. And I mean, if they were to do it in a more positive, just, getting along with someone, it might have better results. People will probably be happier for one. Um, because I know there's times like I've really wanted to just really get along with someone. I mean, really get along, really vibe with them. I mean, we didn't have to be around each other all the time, but like I was really just trying to. And they were just very like, no.
Right.
Um, and mostly work stuff. It kind of sucks when you're trying to put that effort in there and they're just, mm.
Yeah.
So I think it would go a long way if people would just keep an open mind with positive energy instead of just shutting people off and going towards a dark negative place. I
Mhm.
do.
And that's the lesson. I think that's the lesson we all need to learn is to get more in tune with our spiritual and our energetic selves and to understand that everyone is operating on a different vibrational frequency. Once we understand that, we can open up the lines of communication much better. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Eye Opener Society. This has been so much fun. And we're going to be getting a lot more episodes. And we're going to be working up to the whole talk show. So I want everybody to remember eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. Don't forget to tune in over there. And don't forget, we're on all platforms as well as YouTube if you want to look at the video as well. So, everyone, thank you again for tuning in. And we will be seeing you on the next episode. Thank you.